Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. Being sick won't stop me from making football videos, Perna. Thumbs up the video for my fucking strength. I do apologize for sounding like Patrick Mahomes' cousin today, but we've got a lot of football news to discuss from all of Sunday's games, including...
Shout out to Donatella Versace for custom making this outfit for me, and shout out to Michael B. Jordan because he's going to be taking it off of me tonight.
How is Minaj wanting to fuck Michael B. Jordan football news, Brandon? Well, because MBJ was QB1 for East Dillon High in Friday Night Lights. Football. What is man's greatest fear? It's sharp objects close to his genitals. And that's why I've partnered with Manscaped as a sponsor of this show. Manscaped.com is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. You know what they say, the shorter the bushes, the bigger the tree looks. The Manscaped trimmers have been designed by aerospace engineers to guarantee they will not nick or cut your man parts when you're trimming. That is literally the most important thing aerospace engineers have ever done. This is me getting my chest hair under control. Look at the before and after. Perfect. And my nipples were not harmed because of the Manscaped skin-safe technology. With the amount of body hair I have, there's never been a product I have been more qualified to discuss than Manscaped.com's trimmers. Use my promo code SPORT20 for 20% off your order, plus a free gift, plus free shipping. SPORT20, link in the description, Manscaped.com, do it. Titans versus Patriots. Tennessee wins 34-10. Do you remember the Titans? Can you remember the Titans? We're gonna start with my favorite game, and this is how I felt while watching this clash of the Titans. Okay, yes, Titans take an early 7-0 lead after a great opening kick return. God, I hope they don't fuck this up in the fourth quarter. Yes, the Titans go up 14-3 with an impressive Corey Davis rainbow catching touchdown. God, I hope they don't fuck this up in the fourth quarter. The Titans go into halftime with a 24-10 lead after a walking, standing Derrick Henry touchdown run, following an impressive Marcus Mariota drive, and God, I hope they don't fuck this up in the fourth quarter. I can pinpoint the exact moment I stopped worrying Tennessee would fuck it up in the fourth quarter. No, it was not after Tennessee extended their lead 27-10. No, it was not after Derrick Henry scored another touchdown, giving Tennessee a 34-10 lead. It was prior to that, when Tom Brady, functioning as an NFL wide receiver, actually catches the football, unlike he did in the Super Bowl, and with the go-ahead first down in front of him, just trips over his very own TB12 pliable stupid feet 1 yard short of the first down marker. That was followed by an uncharacteristic Patriot mistake, a false start on 4th and 1, backing New England up, giving Tennessee back the ball, and that's when I knew the football gods were too busy jinxing all of Cody Parquet's kicks in Chicago to give a shit about the Patriots. And then Tennessee rubbed it in their faces with this successful pass play to Marcus Mariota, and the world rejoiced with laughter. Now, Tennessee taught us something very important. The best way to beat the Patriots is to basically be the Patriots. And after the game, Dion Lewis said this about his former team. Hell yeah, it's personal. That's what happens when you go cheap. You get your ass kicked. Buffalo wins 41-10. Neither the Jets or the Bills had held any lead at any point since week 6 heading into this game. Josh McCown had to battle Matt Barkley with injuries to Josh Allen and Derek Anderson and so little faith in Nathan Peterman that they benched him for Matt Barkley, who wasn't even in the league last season. This was the first 100-yard rushing game for LaShawn McCoy this season. I credit Barkley for knowing to hand it off to Shady and also for knowing not to throw the fucking ball to Kelvin Benjamin. Okay, well, he tried to do that 3 times, and Benjamin, in a game where his team obliterated their opponent with 41 points, finished with 0 catches for 0 yards, which is probably why Matt Barkley started targeting left tackles in the end zone instead of Benjamin. I mean, fuck you, Tom Brady had more receiving yards than Kelvin Benjamin. The Bills had a player quit at halftime this season, and I'm surprised that the Jets head coach Todd Bowles didn't become the first NFL coach to be fired at halftime. Washington Redskin potatoes versus Buccaneers. Washington wins 16-3. The term red zone struggles is so far from accurately describing what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers accomplished Sunday that a new phrase needs to be invented for this scenario. Give me your creative ideas in the comments. I'm sick, I can't think of any. The Buccaneers racked up 501 offensive yards, but only scored 3 points. That's like watching all 3 hours of Titanic, but closing your eyes during the nude scene. You're missing the whole point. Although if I directed that movie, Leonardo would have been fully nude while painting Kate Winslet, and we would have seen it all. Now the Bucs are 3-6 after starting 2-0, much like the Denver Broncos. And much like the Broncos, Tampa Bay has a dead man walking for a head coach. Ryan Fitzpatrick in this loss threw for 406 yards with 2 picks and was the second leading rusher with 35, which makes him probably the most qualified NFL player to be a politician one day. Appear to do a lot, but actually accomplish nothing. Chicago defeats Detroit 34-22. Mitch Titties Trubisky is quietly having the greatest season from a Bears quarterback ever. But no one is really noticing because that still only makes him slightly above average in 2018 when compared to his peers. He threw 3 touchdowns, ran for another, and got his first ever NFC North victory. He was like Ryan Fitzpatrick, except he won and threw touchdowns instead of picks. Cody Parquet missed 4 kicks by hitting the uprights each time. For a point. After the game, he said this.
My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ makes no mistakes, and for whatever reason that is, that was the day I was supposed to have.
Which is a genius move by Parquet. If the Bears fire him after he says,
My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ makes no mistakes, and for whatever reason that is, that was the day I was supposed to have,
he could sue them for religious discrimination. That is fucking brilliant, Cody. Cody Parquet, the type of guy most likely to use the Jesus defense during intercourse while his wife walks in on him with another woman. Whoa, 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 that's not what it looks like. My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ wanted me to do this. Over and over again. New Orleans clobbers Cincinnati 51-14. Now the Saints signed wide receiver Dez Bryant on Thursday, and by Friday he was done for the season after tearing his Achilles. Michael Thomas scored the kind of touchdown in this game that would really piss off Jesse James, or say even Dez Bryant. Looks like the ball touches the ground on this one, but is inconclusive due to the shadows. Rule the touchdown. The last time a shadow was that unhelpful was in Peter Pan. Disney reference. If this game were close, that play would be under a microscope. But when you lose 51-14, nobody gives a shit because the Saints would have just scored on the next 10 plays anyway. The Saints did officially sign wide receiver Brandon Marshall today because they have 5 other wideouts on IR right now. Which is scary because with basically 1 receiver, Drew Brees surpassed Brett Favre on the all-time touchdown list with 509. The Saints punted 0 times in this game, which means the best job in the world right now, besides being Sam Bradford or say the man who has it all, John Legend, is punting for the Saints. Thomas Morstead, who literally did nothing on Sunday, is currently getting paid more money than Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, who combined for 4 touchdowns and like 170 yards of offense. Kids, start practicing your kicks right now, or piano like John Legend. If you don't want to be John Legend when you grow up, you're a fucking idiot. Cleveland wins 28-16. Boy, was I wrong about this game. Nick Chubb had the longest play of the year, longest run in Browns history with this 92-yard touchdown scamper to start the second half. Maybe the most impressive thing here was Antonio Callaway showing Chubb which direction to run with his hands behind his back. And with this win, head coach Greg Williams matched Hugh Jackson's first 2 seasons in terms of win totals. It took him 2 weeks to do what Hugh Jackson did in 2 years, which I guess if they were building an apartment complex, would be a bad thing for Greg Williams to accomplish. Julio Jones becomes the fastest receiver to get to 10,000 yards. He did it in 104 games. That's 11 faster than Calvin Johnson. Baker Mayfield had 0 incompletions in the first half of this game. He didn't care if he had to throw it to the defense. He demanded perfection from himself and said after the game he just woke up feeling dangerous.
Yeah, when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Care to expand on that?
I just woke up feeling real dangerous.
Which, with his arrest history, is only mildly concerning. If Tyreek Hill, Adam Pac-Man Jones, or Robbie Anderson ever wakes up saying they are feeling dangerous, you should immediately call the police. Cardinals versus Chiefs. Kansas City wins 26-14. Chiefs receiver Tyreek Hill scored 15.5 fantasy points on the Chiefs' opening drive. I have this football fantasy where when shitty teams play good teams, they don't do stupid shit to beat themselves, like onside kicks against the best offenses in the league, where the kickoff rules heavily favor the receiving team. Patrick Mahomes broke the single season touchdown record for the Chiefs with his 31st touchdown pass. That was Len Dawson's record, which dated back to 1964. Tyreek Hill also commandeered the CBS camera after scoring a touchdown. He's not a trained cameraman, and he's definitely not in the union, but I can't imagine any footage he got was worse than God Friended Me or Kevin Can Wait. This week on CBS. And much like Julio Jones in a loss, Larry Fitzgerald surpassed Terrell Owens, moving into second all-time in receiving yards. Now, I doubt he can catch Jerry Rice's record at 22,895, since Larry needs about 7,000 more yards to do that. But considering Larry played his entire career with the Arizona Cardinals, I think that puts him at least equal to Jerry Rice for adjusted yards. Jaguars versus Colts. Indianapolis holds on 29-26. The Count of Dante Moncriefco came back to haunt his old team, scoring on what I'm guessing is the longest touchdown pass of Blake Bortles' life. However, the Jags were no match for Eric Ebron? The tight end had 3 touchdowns in the first half. Matthew Stafford never got him 3 touchdowns in a game. Hell, he only got him more than 3 touchdowns in an entire fucking season twice in 4 years. Ebron has 9 touchdowns with Andrew Luck in his 26 touchdown passes this year. Luck has thrown 12 TDs to tight ends this season, including one to Mo Cox in this game. You know what they say, Mo Cox, mo problems. That statement is true in politics, it's true in the office place, and it is certainly true in pornography. Now, this was a game of extremes for the 2 running backs. Leonard Fournette in his return and Jordan Wilkins both had 53 rushing yards on the ground, but Fournette needed 24 carries to get there, while Wilkins needed just 1. Jags are done, Colts are on the rise. Chargers vs. Raiders. Los Angeles wins 20-6. The Raiders' best offensive play this season was a fake punt and run by punter Johnny Townsend. John Gruden is expected to trade him next week for a 9-iron. Now, don't get too excited, Raiders fans. Your team found a way to end this impressive opening drive without points. With all the terrible fires burning in California this weekend, defensive tackle Corey Liuget said the Chargers smelled smoke on the field but weren't affected by the air quality. Liuget continued, it actually canceled out the weed smell that we usually get when we play here. I don't blame Raiders fans for smoking weed at their home games. I actually think it's a healthy way to deal with constant disappointment. Hell, Derek Carr may have been high, throwing this ball into the dirt on 4th down at the end of the game. Maybe he didn't want to get hit, or maybe he was high as fuck and was throwing the ball to somebody only he could see. Who knows? Green Bay defeats Miami 31-12. Now, the Dolphins kept an impressive streak alive on their opening series. This botched snap by Brock Osweiler and turnover made this the 20th straight game Dolphins failed to score a touchdown on their opening series. Aaron Jones made up for his fumble last week by piling up 145 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, which I think makes him the best Packers running back since Ryan Grant, Amon Green, Samkin Gatto, Dorsey Levens. All I'm getting from this list is that Green Bay has had better history with quarterbacks than with running backs. And the Dolphins are just counting down the days until they get Ryan Tannehill back. Which is like counting down the days until you can start chemo again. LA perseveres 36-31. Wide receivers Tyler Lockett and Brandon Cooks gave Floyd Mayweather a football after they scored touchdowns. How cute is that? This is a lot like when Cam Newton gives a kid in the stands a football. If that kid were the richest person in the stadium, aside from the owner of the football team, and that kid had pled guilty to domestic violence twice. Now, Donald started a fight in this game with Seattle's Justin Britt after this late hit out of bounds. After the game, Donald took his pads off but kept his helmet on just so he could talk shit to Justin Britt. which caused yet another fight after the game. I'm just here to get my revenge, you jerk. Probably close to what he said. Jared Goff called Halle Berry at the line of scrimmage.
He has jumped up to...
Which I can only imagine is a reference to his favorite superhero movie, Catwoman. Either that or he's doing some self-defeating to Monsters Ball, if you know what I mean. Seahawks first round running back Rashad Penny had his first 100-yard game in the NFL, which really sucks for this guy who said he'd get Penny's face tattooed on his chest if he ran for 100 yards. Sunday night letdown, Dallas prevails 27-20. Starting where Aaron Donald left off, these two teams started fighting before the game even began. I guess you could say the Eagles should have saved some of that fight for the game. The Eagles lost to the Cowboys on a night where this was considered one of Dak Prescott's best throws. Also, starting where Jared Goff left off, Carson Wentz audibles.
More chocolate, more chocolate!
No, that's not a reference to Halle Berry. It's a reference to his favorite movie, Chocolat, starring Johnny Depp. Michael Bennett had a ferocious sack on Dak Prescott, and Bennett's jersey doesn't even look like a jersey. It looks like he took a regular jersey and pads and left them in the microwave on high for an hour. Unfortunately for the Eagles, he couldn't stop Zeke, who ran for 151 yards and a score, which was enough to cancel out most of Dak's shitty throws. Brett Maher missed one field goal, which is the first time Amar has ever been right of center on Sunday night. That's a real time with Bill Maher joke if you're not an avid HBO watcher like me. Not to be confused with Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel or Real Sex. Hopefully not with Bill Maher or Bryant Gumbel. Those are all of your Sunday football recap games extravaganza. If you haven't already, check out @WillKey6 and my parody video of ESPN Plus's Detail. We did Josh Rosen in the first episode where we break him down more professionally than Peyton Manning ever could. It turned out pretty good. Just please watch.